My daddy has a radio. He won it 30 years ago. He said, son, I just know I'm gonna hear you singing on it someday. Well, I made it up to Music Row. Lordy, don't the wheels turn slow. Still, I wouldn't change a minute. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just show me to the stage. I'm chasing that neon rainbow. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maxwell Ivey, Max to my friends and clients. Some of you may know me as Mr. Midway or the Blind Blogger. And this is the next episode of Leading You Out of the Darkness. And today I want to talk to you about something that I've been thinking about lately as a result of doing the various radio shows that I've been taking part in. Each show host tries to do their own introduction. And whenever I hear myself being introduced, it's a gratitude moment. It makes me think, man, I have really come a long way. I've done a lot of things. I'm impressed by myself, how far I've come and how far I still have left to go. And that happens to me pretty much every time I get introduced on a show. Recently, I did a show where the introduction was pre-recorded, and all we did was record the interview questions, and it was a good interview. I'm looking forward to it when it goes live. But I think we all need an introduction, and I've been thinking about this. You know, in boxing, they have these introductions that are almost like a performance. In wrestling, you know, you've got these big introductions with loud rock music, sound effects, pyrotechnics, and announcers introducing the competitors, telling you everything about them. Even at the circus, you have the ringmaster who will tell you the history of the act, where they're from, how long they've been doing it. And of course, he'll remind you that you need to be quiet because this is a death-defying stunt. So I started thinking about it. I think we should all have an introduction. And I'm going to use wrestling as my example because I like wrestling. I've been watching it since I was very young. And think about it. They have unique names or monikers, such as uh, Triple H is the Game, the Cerebral Assassin, and the King of Kings. Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game, the master of the figure four, and the 16-time world champion. John Cena is the all about hustle, loyalty, and respect. Shawn Michaels was known as the Heartbreak Kid in Mr. WrestleMania. And a couple of local guys here from Texas that I love. You have The Undertaker, who's referred to as the Dead Man, the Phenom, and you have Stone Cold Steve Austin from just up the road, who was the Texas Rattlesnake. So they've got names that make you think about who their personality is going to be once they get in the ring and once they start performing. Uh, they have, like I said, most of them have catchphrases. Stone Cold used to say he was going to open up a can of whoop ass. Uh, John Cena likes to say the champ is here, and if you want some, come get some. The Rock used to say, just bring it. Hulk Hogan used to say, what are you going to do when the largest arms in the world run wild on you? And so they had the catchphrases. They also had somebody giving them an introduction, bringing them to the attention of the fans and giving them a push out onto the stage. The ring announcer would mention where they're from, what their record was, if they held a title. And so I'm thinking maybe that some of us should take just a minute, just for fun, and try to create our own ring introduction. Like, for example, what kind of music would you come out to? Me, I've always been the good kid, somebody who does what he's supposed to most of the time. So if I were going to pick music, I would like Bad to the Bone, that Dr. Death Steve Williams used to come out to. Or since they're from here in Houston, and people say that I look so much better since I lost all the weight, maybe Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top. I'm not sure. One of my favorites, Daniel Bryant, comes out to Ride of the Valkyries, and when they play the theme to 2001, you know it's Ric Flair, and when that glass breaks, you know it's Stone Cold. So, what kind of music would you pick? Would you wrestle in tights, trunks, sequins, cape, a mask, face paint? Me, it's something, like I say, I've always been the conservative person, so I think I'd like to take a page from somebody like Jeff Hardy, who paints his face, or Sting. Love Sting. Um, like I say, if you were going to write your introduction, what kind of things have you done recently or throughout the course of your life that you would want to mention? Recently, I was introduced by David Rafe on his show, Joining Up Dots, and he gave me an introduction that was so strong that I actually took a couple minutes to talk to him just about the introduction. I really loved how he did it. It showed that he really did his homework on me, and he mentioned a couple of things in our talk that I loved and I would love to steal. One is he called me the Blind Terminator. The other is he said that I have a PhD in hustle and muscle. So since I've asked y'all what y'all would do, I think I would come out in a suit and tie, kind of like Erwin R. Shyster used to do, even though the tie can be a liability in a ring. I'd come out to Sharp Dressed Man. I would love to hear Lillian Garcia introduce me rather than Harvey Finkelstein or Michael Buffer, just because Lillian is a hell of a singer. She has a great voice, and she's done so much more than be a ring announcer, so she's one of my favorites. And so I would much rather hear her do it than one of the other two, even though they are more famous. And a lot of wrestlers say that until they hear Harvey Finkelstein introduce them, they haven't had a career or haven't been famous. But me, I'm a Lillian Garcia fan. I love the way she does the national anthem in American the Beautiful. And here's just some of the things I think that I would say or have them say about me. He hails from Houston, Texas. He weighs in at 255 pounds. He has a doctorate in hustle and muscle from the University of Life and is a tenured professor offering instruction on chasing dreams, accomplishing goals, overcoming adversity. I've kind of run out of some other things I'll say, but maybe I'll get to it in the blog post. But he's a 10-time champion of overcoming adversity, and you'll never find a more optimistic or positive person. When they say that you have to believe, he already knows it. He lives it. He does it every day. Well, I'm going to have to work on that, because who knows? Someday I may get introduced to give a speech at Carnegie Hall or the Toyota Center or maybe the Madison Square Garden, and by then I'll need to have a good intro worked up. I want to thank David Rafe and anybody who's done a show with me, because like I say, when you get introduced, it's a gratitude moment. It reminds you just how special you are. If you haven't taken stock recently as far as the things you've done to remind yourself how good things are going, it's an opportunity to do that. So it's another reason why I enjoy doing the radio shows and will continue doing them. If you have any questions, I would love to hear what you would answer the questions of. I'd love to hear your music, outfit, catchphrase, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments section. Obviously, this video and audio isn't perfect, but I don't claim to be, and I do the best I can every day. That's my catchphrase. Do what you can as well as you can today, and then do it better or do more tomorrow. And if you don't ask, they can't say yes. Well, I appreciate y'all listening. I thank you for your time. I ask God to bless you. And until I talk to you again next, you take care out there. Thank you, and bye.